Qatar. Yesterday's first race of the season came down to the very final lap and the run to the line between three of the biggest talents coming out of Japan. Rookie Shinya Izawa took his first victory in his ATC career ahead of Gunmi and Amon Adaki, and there were thrills and spills up and down the running order throughout the 14 laps, fortunately with all riders able to walk away under their own steam. Today, though, presents an all-new challenge for our competitors hailing from Asia and Oceania. Who's done their homework overnight, and will we see a change in the order at the top three, or even a new name come into the fray altogether? All questions are just moments away from being answered, so sit back, get ready. Welcome to the Asia Talent Cup. Well, hello there and welcome back to the Lusail International Circuit. Quite similar conditions, to be honest, but a little bit warmer in the direct sunlight than it was yesterday for round one, race one. And here are the riders who are getting ready for race two of the weekend. We're anticipating a full Asia Talent Cup season in 2022. What a return to action that will be. My name's Matt Dunn, alongside me as ever, Fran Well, bringing you the commentary for this particular round. I've no idea what we're looking at on our screen there, but they are very pretty and very well constructed nonetheless. I can't wait for action here today. What a race we had yesterday, Fran. I mean, if that's a preview for what's to come, well, I mean, we're going to be exhausted for the rest of the day, and we still got a full day of work ahead of us. Absolutely, yeah. It was quite a stunning race to start the season, wasn't it? Certainly that battle between those final three who were left in it by the end of play. Yeah, great race between those three Japanese riders, one veteran, two rookies. A bit of a race of attrition elsewhere for a few riders, and sadly we do have one person who won't be back on the grid today after breaking his collarbone, which is Tanakon Lakan. So best wishes to him. One of the riders caught up in a few of the incidents yesterday, but everyone more or less okay after those and looking to hopefully get a few more laps under their belt. And as we just saw there, pole sitter once again, I keep wanting to say Eamon, but it's two Eamon Holmes, exactly. Amon Udaki, incredible debut for him, and great stuff yesterday, although he was third in the end. And this guy as well on your screens, Carter Thompson, he is one of those who got caught up in some of the drama yesterday and will certainly be looking for more in the race today. Qualified second, as you can see, which is a nice little step up from where he was in pre-season testing, of course, but as one with more experience, he'll be wanting a bit more again. And then we have yesterday's winner. Yeah, Shinya Izawa, well, win in the first time of asking for the very smiley Japanese rookie. I mean, he was smiling before the race got underway with a very cheesy grin and a wave to the camera, as he did there pretty much. And it was the same on the top of the podium. Maybe that's the trick. He was so casually delighted yesterday on the grid, and it really paid off for him, didn't it? Happiness and smiling just brings everything you could ever want in life. Your tone of voice really doesn't... Yeah, so this is Hakim Denis, though. Previous podium finisher here, a small mistake heading on to the final lap in towards the first turn put him out of the running, and actually out of the running not just for the podium but fourth as well, because that went to the wild card, Hamad Al Sahuti, the local Qatari rider, who would have been dead chuffed with that. But it was a complete Japanese lockout. But I'm anticipating, Fran, so long as these riders stay on the bikes, a little bit unlike yesterday, we only had 12 finishes in the end, we should actually see a real range of riders up the front once again, because it was a huge pack pretty much all the way to the end by those accidents. Yeah, it really was, exactly. It wasn't that anyone really kind of lost that pace and then started to fade too much. It was the drama and a few of those incidents that really kind of gave us that three-way fight for the win. So it could be a good and interesting race today if we can have everyone rather staying out of trouble a little bit more. But yeah, great result for Hamad Al Sahuti, like you said yesterday. It was thousandths between him and Denis over the line for fourth. I think it was like 0.015 from memory. Yeah. So really close and great race for him at home. But yeah, I'm sure Denis will be wanting to stay in the mix a bit longer and avoid that almost high side that he suffered yesterday late on. Well, here is your starting grid then.
Aodaki takes off from pole position once again. Thompson alongside him and Ozawa there in third place. Denis heads the second row from Wakamatsu and Mie. Then we have the Indonesian rookie Pratama from Puetesan and Nicholas. Nicholas unfortunately went down in yesterday's race, as did Puetesan and Pratama. I mean, one of those, plenty of those sad fallers there. But heading row 4, we have the wild card Al Sahuti.
We do, and then we have Hafi and Isdar. Isdar, another one who went down yesterday, and then Trihardika Putra Riswanto, and it's gone too quick for us once again.
Yeah.
But on the final row of the grid then, we'll have Raykat Fadila and Tran Thai of Vietnam holding 20th place on the grid there, missing a bit of track time as the Vietnamese rider, but good progress made so far, shaving those seconds off the lap time. Yeah,
with this now no longer being sort of the first step on the road to MotoGP program, you have the FIM Mini GP World Cup, where actually plenty of riders have actually come through that onto this very grid here. But all three brand new Malaysians to this grid have come through that series. It does though still have that pact of, well, unfortunately there's not too many places for the Vietnamese riders to actually go and train back at home, whereas compared to structures which have a lot more infrastructure there, like in the Malaysians, they've put in 1,000 kilometres worth of training on these very bikes in preparation for this season. It does make a difference. It does make a difference, yeah. And of course all of the Road to MotoGP programs, whether it's the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup that's completely run and promoted by Dorna and at Grand Prix events, or those cups that are affiliated in different countries around the world, and like you say, the FIM Mini GP World Series, where we've got quite a few cups there and more to come. Stay tuned. So the overall thing's the series, and then the smaller one's the cup. What did we commentate on last year? Was it the World Cup final?
Yes, the World Series final is what we... so yes, exactly. The final event of the season brings the top riders from each national, regional or continental cup. And then they have that final showdown, which last year was in Valencia, and I'm sure this year will probably be the same. But yeah, like you said, training opportunities does still make quite a difference. But that's, of course, as well, why there is such an emphasis on progress within these bigger programs a little bit further up the road to MotoGP. And it's not just about, okay, if you're fastest on day one, then you're the guy who's going to get that opportunity and move up automatically. Maybe if you are at the back, but you show really big leaps forward throughout the season, that also speaks to some serious talent, and you know, you'll get support for that as well, and the progress that you make. So I think it's pretty good overall, but we cannot overlook the very impressive debuts of the number 14 and 21 there, the Japanese rookies either. They have made a statement with their pace on arrival here in the Asia Talent Cup. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to say now the Road to MotoGP program's looking pretty comprehensive from pretty much, or near enough, all corners of the earth, essentially. It's in a great situation. These are the riders heading up on their warm-up laps, so about 3 minutes time we'll be getting underway with racing for the second time here at the Lusail International Circuit in 2022. Of course, these guys had their first race one yesterday. Going to give you a right opportunity now, if you didn't watch it, to pause right now and go and watch it. Well, welcome back. Maybe not if you're watching live. No, if you are watching live, go away, watch the first one first and come back to this. It'd be great. You can still watch it on demand later on. Absolutely can, of course. But yeah, so we're live on YouTube and on broadcast partners around the world, and we hope you enjoy this one, and hope you did manage to join us yesterday as well. And like Matt said, make the effort to catch up with some great racing, and yeah, a little dose of drama, but some great racing. And I think yesterday as well just leaves us guessing again. Yesterday we were into the unknown, as it was the first showdown of the season, with so many new faces on the grid. We've got 14 new riders and only 6 returning, plus the Qatari wildcard Hamad Al Sahuti on this grid. And yeah, we were into the unknown yesterday to see how everyone would do over race distance, but with so many incidents we still don't really know for a few of these guys in the field. So we've still got plenty of questions. And with so many rookies in the field as well, we will expect lap times. Some of these lap times coming in this very race will actually be the fastest that we saw all weekend long. We had back in FP2 a 2-minute 10.7, which is only a 10th off the all-time lap record in the Asia Talent Cup. Yesterday in qualifying we had 2-minute 11.5. Conditions weren't quite so optimal, but yesterday we were heading down towards the very low 2:11, so it's very possible these riders keep getting faster and faster. As I reiterate, as Fran said earlier, it's more about what these riders can learn in these races than just the results.
How great is that? I mean, you don't get that anywhere else in motorsport, do you? The opportunity to learn.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the idea. Progress is the name of the game rather than too much pressure. And yeah, track conditions as well today are quite different, which could play into it. Yesterday was very, very windy and we couldn't really figure out, not obviously spending too much time in Qatar, whether it was dust or haze or what it was, but you could really tell the visibility wasn't the best yesterday. On TV it looked a lot darker than it did in real life when you went outside, but today we're back to that classic blazing sun in the desert, a little bit warmer, so we'll have to see how that affects the race today as well.
Well, your pole man, pole young rider, you could say, Amon Adaki lines up to take pole position for the second time here. Obviously no new grids sorted out based on times from race 1 or any formats like that. He's got Carter Thompson alongside him, and then Shinya Ozawa, yesterday's race winner. What drama awaits now in the Asia Talent Cup for this second race of the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup 2022 about to get underway? Who will get the biggest push off the line? Who will get the whole shot in towards turn 1? Well, drama unfolds thereafter. The lights come on and they're out, and we're away for this second race. It's another real good push off the line from Shinya Ozawa, but the number 13, that is Hakim Denis, the Malaysian rider, gets the jump and looks to be getting the whole shot in towards turn 1, but will he be outbroken by Amon Adaki? I think no. Denis does actually maintain that whole shot and first position in towards the first turn, all safely through and shuffling in behind the number 14. Well, he didn't get away yesterday. He's certainly not getting away today either.
Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a rougher start for Adaki from pole position, but today into second then, it looks like, and Denis in the lead. So good stuff from the Japanese rookie to just, learn from that mistake yesterday and certainly improve on it today. If not quite the whole shot, it's nearly as good as. So he slots into second, and so far so good. Drama-free here in race 2.
Well, you've got Adaki now making a move for the lead. So number 14 overtakes number 13 then, and that was very nicely done. Did not compromise his line or drive out of that corner whatsoever. You've got the number 2 of Ray Wakamatsu going off track limits there just in the background. And we've got Ozawa still just, well, holding firm in that 13th, in that third position. Mie, yesterday's second place finisher, just behind him.
Yeah, so we've got all of our key players having pretty solid starts then. Certainly those key players from yesterday and those with a little bit more experience. And yeah, I think this could be an interesting race now, because so far we've not had any drama either, so everyone's still very much together on track. And yeah, Nicholas as well made quite a good start there. He'll be hoping to get a few more laps under his belt today.
Yes, that is a really good, solid start for Nicholas down in P7. Really well done to him so far. This is pretty impressive. It's a lot more calmer. I think yesterday with all those accidents that we had, it's that build-up of tension and releasing it for that very first race of the season. So many of them rookies. This is the first MotoGP event they will have properly competed at on the same circuit as these riders. Of course, the Mini GP World Series goes on a smaller karting track at the Valencia circuit. So it's a lot more pressure to deal with, and I think that might have been what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, possibly a little bit. Just those and those early nerves as well. Once you realise, like, wow, there's real points on the table here now. It's not just about lap times and making those adjustments and getting up there. It's time to also like get the job done and cross the line at the end of the race. And unfortunately, yeah, few nerves, few moves that maybe were a little bit too ambitious, but so far so good in this race. And yeah, at the moment then we've got those 6 out front with a little bit of daylight just behind. I think is that Carter Thompson at the back of that lead group, but I'm sure that that will probably get closed down quite quickly, and I don't think we're going to see a breakaway too early on yet.
Well, even if we do, we tend to see a race of 2 halves, don't we? A little breakaway at the start, but then everybody else comes into their own, gets themselves sorted, faffing less, overtaking each other less, messing up lines less, and actually catch up the leading group once again. But that could be famous last words and a bit of a commentator's curse on this second lap. So we shall see. Still though, Hakim Denis out front, overtaken Adaki in towards that first turn last time around. And well, Ozawa just, it's all very calm, Fran, really.
Yeah, it is pretty calm at the moment, isn't it? Not too much drama, although Adaki there looking to prove us very wrong immediately. But no, so here we're on board then with the number 6, Carter Thompson, the Australian, who it did come up, he'd gone to the medical centre yesterday, but I don't think he had. He was actually okay. That was the wrong number that was displayed. But he was one of the riders in that crash, so he'll be looking for a lot more today. But we seem to see him sort of bide his time a little bit in the early stages. Unfortunately, that plan never came to fruition, as he didn't see see the flag, but we'll have to see if there are some of those tactics going to come into play today as well. But I think that gap as well behind Thompson has already closed to the number 20 on the chase. Yeah, they're right back in there. Yeah,
Puesan on the chase as well. He had a really good ride yesterday. Qualified down in 8th position, I should say, so did the Thai rider. So when he was fighting up towards the front in the early stage, I thought, well, that's a little bit of a surprise. But no, holding firm in P7 at the moment, just one place further up than where he qualified. You can see him in the back of shot there, number 20. So will he be in the mix later on in the race as riders come round the final corner once more? Slipstream takes effect. They all fold in very neatly in line. They all 5 riders, sorry, become one essentially in the view down that straight. And it looks like Adaki's well got the lead once again. Will cross the line in first position. Fastest lap of the race, a 2:11.5, is on par with that pole position lap time that he set yesterday morning.
It's been beaten already though. 2:11.2 there from Pratama, I think it was, over the line. So good stuff from the Indonesian rider, and you can see now that gap a little bit bigger. So it'll be interesting to see how that concertina effect plays out as we maybe get a little bit more chopping and changing at the front. We now can see Adaki and Mie have gone through into the lead. So yeah, Denis really losing out at that slipstream now. The number 13 at the back of this 5-rider fight at the front.
Well, Gun Mie out the front. He was very, very intent on being out front as much as possible yesterday. There's one of the slightly more experienced riders in this leading group, along with Hakim Denis. We did see Mie present last year. Very close friends with the 2021 Asia Talent Cup champion Tayo Furusato, of course. Them two were cycling together frequently during the winter period, I was told, and Tayo pretty much smashing Gun at this early stage. He is the, you know, complete fully paid up professional rider and all that. He kind of has to be.
But I love the way you say frequently. Like if we were to tell someone how often we'd had lunch, it'd just be like frequently.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not assuming they like live completely closely together and travel together and everything like that, but it was more than one occasion.
Well, it's great as well for these guys to have those like rivals who can also be your friends and push you in training as well, whether it be just physical training or on track training. And getting a little bit spicy now at the front. 3 abreast. Who's going to come out on top? I think it's going to be Mie. Yeah, the number 5 then holds that line and takes back the lead.
Pratama, though, looking very, very strong and intent on making a move towards the podium. We saw him hovering around the top 5, top 4 yesterday, but not really able to fully trouble the leaders in those first sort of positions before he was taken out of the race. But you can see the smaller Indonesian figure there, just going to be tucked perfectly in the slipstream behind Gun Mie and Amon Adaki as we come across the line now to click down towards 11 laps to go. Wow, that was a slingshot and a half that Adaki, the number 14, got to head over that side of the track. Now, what about the 21 of Izawa, yesterday's winner? Will we see him take the lead for the first time? I don't think so, because Adaki seems like a bit of a demon on the brakes, and Pratama says no to Izawa going through as well and towards second.
Yeah, that was nice stuff then. Adaki taking charge again, the number 14 back in the race lead. But yeah, Pratama looking very, and I know a lot of people hate this word, racy there in second place. The number 7 really hustling to try and find a way through, and he has done, it looks like, already.
He's really done his homework overnight, hasn't he? This is the Pratama taking the lead. The whole of Indonesia goes wild for the young rider in the 4 of this Asia Talent Cup race. Race 2 at Lusail.
Absolutely. So we've got this big group at the front then, and then I think, is it Al Sahuti in a bit of daylight by himself there in 9th? It's hard to tell. I think it is, yeah, because it's Wakamatsu and Thompson at the back of this group. They have very usefully coloured helmets with the bright orange and bright yellow. So yeah, so great job again then from the Qatari wildcard to be in the same postcode as these guys. But this little freight train then of 8 riders, I mean, you couldn't bet against any of them at the moment, could you? It's still close as ever, but certainly the more the guys right at the front of this train fight it out, the more those just behind are able to hang on, and especially with that slipstream down the really long main straight here at Lusail.
Yeah, when you consider the previous, that's the number 11. Laung Plio's gone down. That's a real shame. Saw him go down in yesterday's race as well, but fortunately up and trying to get running once again. Bit of a taller character is Laung Plio on that smaller Asia Talent Cup NS250R.
Yeah, certainly you can see the difference in height and the size of these riders a lot more on the smaller bikes, can't you, than maybe you can on bigger machinery, certainly like MotoGP. But yeah, it's not seeming to make too much of a huge difference for a lot of these guys, so that's good stuff, because obviously equal opportunity is what we're meant to get from equal machinery, but sometimes you can be at a bit of a disadvantage or advantage depending on that. But so far all good, and it's the braking zone into turn 1 that's proving the real decider here.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see yesterday Gumbier, his top speed wasn't exactly that far down on Amon Adaki's, who's a much smaller frame, the number 14 out front there than the number 5. So pretty even Stevens, as we see Al Sahuti got the fastest lap that time around, 2:11.1, fastest lap of the race. The previous lap to that, well, a lot of these riders were in the mid 2:12. So what you say about these riders overtaking each other for that first position, holding everybody up, allowing the pack to really bunch up once again, does have a huge impact.
Yeah, racing can be a funny business, can't it, when it's like the guys in the lead of the race are holding everyone up. But it is so true.
Well, that was
bit of a twitch.
Well, he had front end twitches quite a lot yesterday as well. And who did that let through into the front? I think
Supreme pickpocketing.
Denis, I think it is. Yes,
I think it was. 13. Yeah, lovely stuff then. Number 13. That was pretty brave. That was. Went through on 1 and then thought, I think there's still room, and got the job done there. So nice stuff then to see Denis back in the lead. But yeah, that was another little bit of a warning for Adaki, and like you say, we saw a couple of those yesterday as well.
Mainly down in towards turn 1 and the final corner, turn 16 as well from Adaki. So I wonder what sort of homework he's been working on overnight, talking to one of the rider coaches that we have here in the Asia Talent Cup. Something not quite settled on his particular Moto3 machine.
So they should probably worry for the future if that is settled at some point then.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so as you were at the moment then, we've got Denis in the lead, the number 13, with that pickpocketing manoeuvre round the outside.
Goodness me, that was Pratama, just sensational stuff there.
That was lovely, that was. The number 7 then, absolutely on a mission this Sunday. Some great moves we've seen already, and I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a move now. Is he going to go for it? No, not quite. But the number 7 looking very keen then to get to the race lead again.
Wow, goodness me, that is extremely impressive then from the number 7, coming up behind the Malaysian rider Hakim Denis in towards first place. Final corner once again, there will be 9 laps to go. We got Farouche Hafi, one of the Malaysian riders, sadly crashing out of this race as well. We do have Langplios actually rejoined now, circulating off the back, 1 minute down on this leading pack, unfortunately, so it'll be no points today likely for him.
Yeah, and you could see that puff of dust then as they came over the line and down the main straight. Need to be careful not to take too many liberties on that left-hand side of the straight as we're looking at it. Right-hand side as they are. And who is this that's gone down? Oh, it is Hafi, yeah. So at least we can see then the Malaysian rider all okay. Just, I'm sure, quite frustrated to have finished this race a little bit early.
Here's what happened at turn 10. That's on the exit of that, so running a little too wide onto the grass. And unfortunately, well, there's not a lot of adhesion offered up by AstroTurf or natural biological grass. Well, unless you ride motocross.
I enjoy the natural biological grass. It's very specific. Well, is Pratama going to go for the lead here?
Wow,
no.
That was near a bit of a sideswipe for Adaki, who's regained the lead, I should say.
He has indeed. So, yeah, number 7 then, not quite through into that race lead, but looking like he's ready to make all sorts of moves, is the Indonesian. But we've still got this little freight train at the front, though. We've not got any big splits in the group at the moment. And Al Sahuti as well, I think, has joined this little train. So great stuff from the Qatari rider to not only be in the same postcode as those with a little bit more experience in the full-time riders, but also right in the actual group.
The other rider on a move at the moment, keep an eye on the yellow helmet. That's Ray Wakamatsu, the number 2 fastest lap of this leading group last time around, and well, crossed the line in fact in 7th place, but has moved up 2 further places since then into P5. So another rider that fell in yesterday's race, another rider with years of experience under their belt in the Asia Talent Cup last year, looking to really make a name for themselves in 2022.
Yeah, and we saw that from Wakamatsu as well yesterday. Just seemed to give himself a little bit of time to get into the race, and then started really getting up in that fight for the podium as it was at the time in sort of the latter half of the race. So good stuff to see the number 2 once again making some progress.
Well, we're coming down towards 1 lap to go, and it will be halfway through this second Asian Talent Cup race of round 1 at Qatar. We'll talk this morning actually with the next race, the sets of races in Indonesia being so close. The Asian Talent Cup riders will be staying in Qatar because, of course, a variety of quarantine rules in their home countries. Better to stay all together, so the camaraderie will be even stronger as we get to Indonesia.
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? It's good for these guys as well if they can sort of train together and everything like we were saying before. That can make a big difference. What are we going to see in the replay here? Is it a bit of elbows out or just braking into turn 1? I think it's just a beautiful slow-mo. Yes. It looks pretty mean, that helmet design with the livery of these ATC bikes. It's a great combo that Adaki's rocking there. Yeah, so close round there then. But he's still in the lead as we go back to live race pictures then. The number 14 holding firm, but the number 7 still looking very threatening there. And Denis there just taking a quick look over his shoulder. Yes, they're very much still with you.
Yeah, exactly. This whole group goes down towards P9 with Thompson just off the back there. I think probably just keeping calm perhaps, or perhaps riding with a little bit of pain. He did say he had a bit of an impact yesterday, a little bit sore this morning, but didn't look as though it would be causing him too much trouble. As we see there, P7 Al Sahuti last time out, a quarter of a second quicker than Amon Adaki out front in this race. There is Al Sahuti right there.
Yeah, really impressive stuff from the number 23. He set a few fastest laps a few times round, hasn't he? So really up there today, and on purely deserved and impressive pace. No drama around him at all. Fought his way into this freight train on complete merit. So great stuff from him, from the wild card. But Pratama again, he just looks so impatient to get past, but then ultimately doesn't quite go for it. Maybe just trying to pile that pressure on Adaki ahead of him.
And could still be even experimenting with some different lines. This is the final corner, that was the penultimate one. Perhaps he's trying to work out what is going to be, give me the best run towards the line here. This is a completely different set of lines we're seeing from Adaki. So watch Pratama in the slipstream there. Will it be enough to make the overtake before the checkered flag?
I don't think so. I think Adaki, if Adaki isn't attacked into the final corner like yesterday, I think he will be able to make it to the line first. Obviously yesterday he was sent wide by that move from Gunmie, but if he is able to choose his own line round that final corner, I think they're going to have a big job to stop the number 14 before the flag. But rehearsals, that's what they're for. Just checking that out, gathering all those informations, it's great English, all that information, and trying to make a plan for the end of the race. Because of course the ultimate winning plan yesterday, you kind of have to depend on the 2 guys ahead of you definitely going for the same move. So just sitting back and trying to do that is not necessarily the best plan of attack. It's getting very close now here at the front, a little bit more impatience, and we've got Denis back in the race lead and Mie going for a big dive there, but the number 5 ultimately I think staying where he was.
Yeah, fastest lap of the race it went to Denis last time around. The only 2:10, the second 2:10 that we have in this leading group. The other one going to Gunmie. In fact, he was also looking to make a move through there, the number 5. So this is on free practice 2 pace, and that is only 0.2 of a second slower than the all-time lap record set by Nakarinato at Puvapat back in 2015 as well. Pratama looking for another route, possible route around Adaki in towards turn 10. That's where we lost. Was it Hafi earlier on? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was indeed. Yep. So, yeah, it's pretty hot pace out there. Trying to make some sort of hot pace, hot weather joke, but brain not quite fired up enough for that so far on Sunday. But yeah, it is pretty quick today's race. It's certainly a bit quicker than yesterday, and I think a lot of riders will take heart from the fact that they're still very much in this battle, despite that, those quicker lap times at the front.
Big leading group, isn't it? With 9 riders fighting it out. Puetesan and Thompson just off the back there. I mean, it can literally all change. It completely reverse the order come the end of the actual race itself, as Pratama makes a mistake into that final turn, lost a lot of drive and a lot of places with it as well. Wakamatsu nearly shares some paint with the Indonesian rider. They're neck and neck now, along with Al Sahuti down this home straight, and we've got number 20 Puetesan on the AstroTurf there, going alongside pit wall. Not a lot of grip there, but he managed to keep it upright, which is the main thing, and he's actually kind of made it work for him. He's made a couple couple of overtakes using the grass.
Somehow he has.
I don't really understand how that works, but okay, here we are. This is what the Asia Talent Cup's all about. Maybe that's the best line. Please don't use it.
Yeah, no, please don't use that again, guys. But yeah, Fuerte-san then ending up on the AstroTurf, that big puff of dust again, but no harm done. And also Pratama able to stay in that group, or they did lose out. You could see the big difference it makes when you don't get that exit. We
have a rear wheel contact with the front wheel there. I'm not sure who has fallen back nearly off the back of this group, and that's Idaki having another front end moment there at turn 5. This is turn 6 then, another overtaking opportunity. There's the number 21 of Ozawa. Not talked about him for some time. He's been very quiet.
Under the radar, just putting in the laps, isn't he, the number 21, yesterday's race winner.
It was Pratama, I think.
I think it was Pratama and Wakamatsu then that also ended up taking a bit of evasive action there. So they've tagged back onto the group, but then got a little bit of work to do to get back up to the front of this. But then, of course, no one's going to be in pure attack mode probably unless they really feel like they've got superior pace still for another couple of laps.
Yeah, you really feel the tone of the race changes when it clicks down to about 4 laps to go. The moves start getting a little bit more ambitious. Elbows come out just a little bit more. You can tell the rider out front really wants this victory. He was livid as he came across the line, was Gunmie yesterday, not to actually take that victory. He nearly bottomed out the suspension. The Asia Talent Cup machine thought it was riding an MXGP, basically, at that particular point.
Certainly, I can imagine the frustration. He obviously made that move and made it work. He did get past Idaki, which was the rider he'd attacked. Just unfortunately, of course, Ozawa was there to pick both their pockets with that smooth, just lovely exit onto the main straight, tucked in, job done. It wasn't quite enough meters left for those guys to get back on terms with him in the slipstream. Let's see what happens then this time around. No AstroTurf, please. A little bit of a cleaner run. You can see they all absolutely get glued together, don't they?
And they really hug that white line, don't they? Goodness me, so neck and neck across the line. I mean, goodness me, what were the gaps there? Wow. So 0.045 split positions 1 and 2, 7 thousandths of a second there, and then 5 thousandths of a second back further on that point too. Extremely impressive racing here in the Asia Talent Cup. And in this, we got Fadilla's gone down, I think, and Denis, and there's all sorts of swapping going around. The slipstream really just messed out the order completely, didn't it? I was going to take stock, found it, 5 laps to go. What a range of nationalities we have here in this leading group, from Japanese to Al Sahuti, the Qatari rider, in second position, now making a move for the lead at his home circuit. A Thai rider in 4th. We've got an Australian, an Indonesian, a Malaysian as well. I mean, well, the state of Asian motorsport is in good hands.
It is indeed, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good mix this season. Some fresh faces immediately getting up in the mix, and good to see, of course, wildcards allowed back. And yeah, you can see that position progression there. 8 positions gained for the number 23, the Qatari wildcard. So great job from him. And yeah, it's just great, isn't it? We're back in business with the ATC.
Yeah, well and truly properly after 2 sort of interrupted seasons, you could argue, in 2020 and 2021. Al Sahuti, well, he sniffs a victory now, doesn't he, with 5 laps to go. How much would that mean to him, winning on his home circuit in an event such a prestigious as the Asia Talent Cup? Even at this early stage on the Road to MotoGP program, you can see the stickers adorned on the side of the bikes. This is the Road to Red Bull Rookies Cup at the moment as well, so it's an early stage, but still, that win would mean so much to him.
Yeah, definitely. There's some serious prestige here for those guys who are competing, so yeah, it would really mean an awful lot. But I don't know, I still can't call it at all. They're absolutely locked together, pretty much as you were as soon as this group had made that break, other than Sahuti managing to just chase them down and really get on form with these guys at the front. And he looks like he really wants that lead, doesn't he? The number 23. Would be great to see him lead this race on home turf.
Yeah, well, he might get an opportunity here. Across the line they come. Idaki, definitely the rider who's most confident leading out front. He did manage to set a lot of those laps, quick lap times from free practice and qualifying, all on his own. But what about in the run towards turn 1 now? Will Al Sahuti manage to outbrake him? No, just round the outside he comes. And Pratama's made his way back through towards second position as well. So that's a great recovery from the Indonesian.
Yeah, he's just been quietly making his way back through to the front, hasn't he, there, the number 7.
Oh, a bit of a twitch there,
bit of a twitch. Quietly and not so quietly. Commentator's curse, classic. But yeah, and you can see as well, over the line, Idaki still was ahead. It wasn't by much, it was by 0.031, but if he is in that position on the final lap of the race, I'm pretty confident they're probably not going to catch him. But yeah, so great job from Pratama then. It's as you were before that drama for the Indonesian rider, back in second place, and Al Sahuti still very much in the mix in third there. So yeah, it's anything to play for, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it then. 4 laps to go. This is when the tone of the race really starts to change. The moves and the lines start getting a little bit more frantic. We'll see what the lap times are this time around, as Pratama just swarming all over the back of Adaki, the 2 rookies. Although we've had Pratama competing in the Mandalika races last year in the Asia Talent Cup, but this is his first time as a full-time competitor. Track limits warning for Wakamatsu near the back of this group.
I was going to just point that out a second ago. We saw just a little bit onto the green for the number 2 there, just in the back of this group with the yellow helmet, and he also yesterday had a couple of those moments. Just needs to tidy that up a little bit. What are we going to be looking at here in this replay? I
think this is Pratama trying to swarm all over the back of Adaki as he gives a big stare to the camera, or so it looks anyways. His eyes are probably pointing straight forward, to be honest, but a cracking slow-mo shot we have here from turn 10.
Absolutely. So it's still Adaki then leading the number 7 of Pratama. It's great stuff from the Japanese rookie, isn't it? And one of our colleagues, Takumi, as well, gave us some info yesterday that Adaki comes from the Shinya Nakano team in Japan, as well as did Noguchi and Matsuyama, who've come through the ATC. So yeah, got some pedigree already coming into this season. But the number 14 then still in the lead by turn 1 as well this time around, not just over the start finish line. So I think he can be pretty confident that he can keep that lead into the final corner and not get attacked like he was yesterday. But that's a big if, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's also got to watch his own sort of front-end wobbles and mistakes as he breaks into that final corner as well. Not quite planted and guaranteed as Pratama now looking for a way through in towards turn 4. Will he make it? Yes, I think he will. But Adaki's been so good round the outside. Will he get the switch back in towards turn 5?
No, this time, no.
Really, really impressive from the Indonesian. Already puts a bike length between him and Adaki there. Goodness me.
Yeah, good stuff from Pratama. Then they were so close just before he went for that move and really pounced, but really nicely done from the number 7, and he takes the race lead then. And yeah, like you say, a little bit of daylight there at times, but Adaki straight back onto the back of that machine ahead of him now. I don't want to call it still. It's incredible racing so far. Carter Thompson there just starting to fall off the back of this group a little bit. They may be feeling those effects of that crash yesterday. The Australian just not quite able to hang in with these guys over race distance, but still good performance, and good he could get back out there and get some more laps as well.
Yeah, well, we talked earlier about how much it would mean for Hamad Al Sahuti to take a victory here, but also, I guess, for Pratama as well, because we've not actually had an Indonesian win at least since, well, 2020. I guess it would probably be more like 2019, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So long old time.
I feel like 2022 has begun straight after 2019, so I'm still struggling with the actual years and times.
Aren't we all?
But yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? So it'd be great stuff. Certainly not last year, of course. It was a Japanese clean sweep for Taya Furusato.
Exactly.
But yeah, it would be really great to see Indonesia back on the top step in the ATC, of course, and I'm sure Pratama is absolutely guns blazing to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely will be, and if not this this particular race, the next time when we go to Mandalika as well, on Lombok Island, he will, well, I bet there'll be plenty of support for him out there as well. So across the line we come, and Adaki does actually retake the lead as we come to the start
interesting as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. He's really nailing the exit on that final corner, or perhaps other people are keeping a little bit, well, cards close to their chest almost as we come onto this penultimate lap.
I do always wonder, are we being too sort of Machiavellian in believing they're really having these master plans? Or is it largely just...
Oh, wow, what a save from Pratama! Oh my goodness, that's sensational. I mean, he's got a pretty small frame. How he managed to hold on to that, I've no idea. Brilliant stuff, and he's still in contention for second, but that's given Adaki a bit of breathing space at a crucial point in the race.
I cannot believe that. He did most of that corner on the knee slider. Look at this.
Goodness me.
So you think, oh, he's off, and then you think, oh, he saved it, but no, and he's still not quite back on the bike.
Well, you can see there, I think that is because he's a smaller framed rider. I mean, that's not a problem he's going to have in the future, as long as he gets his calcium. But wowee, that was sensational from the Indonesian.
That was amazing. I cannot imagine the spike in heart rate there for the number 7.
And that's just me in the commentary box.
Literally. But yeah, no harm done then. Slots back into still incredibly well in podium contention, looking like he's wanting to take back second place as well. So yeah, great stuff from the number 7 to keep that upright-ish. And yeah, Adaki though, like you said, got that little bit of a gap now. Got nearly 7/10 at the last point of measuring that. But I'm sure Pratama, once he's just got his breath back a little bit, he'll be trying to cut that back down again.
And who's that? That's Al-Sahuti. Goodness me, what a move there in towards this triple right-hander. But it was 0.6 of a second that Adaki had in hand over Pratama. It seems to gone up to a second now. But, well, will that be too much? I'm not sure. I reckon they can catch him on the start and finish straight this time around. It's going to be another blockbuster finish then, Fran.
It certainly is. And remember as well, Adaki is not going to have every single split and know exactly what's happened behind him and when. So maybe it would have been time to pull the pin, but if he's not quite aware of what's just happened, it does give those guys behind just that little bit extra time to try and tag back on. Let's see what happens though with the slipstream then now. Pratama only got one bike ahead of him. A few of those guys at the back will probably get a bit more as there's a bigger hole in the air punched ahead of them. But let's see what we're like into the braking zone of turn 1. I imagine it's going to be Adaki in first. Can Pratama do it over the final lap?
Yeah, well, the one thing that Adaki will know is he will not hear the bike so close to him. He'll be wondering what's going on, but Pratama is closing in on this final lap then. Al-Sahuti throwing absolutely everything he can at it for that home podium, that home glory. He would love a win, but maybe that's going to be out of the question. You've got yesterday's winner, Izawa, on his tail, along with Hakim Denis, although Izawa, a terrible drive out of turn 3. He's been completely swamped, and Pratama's getting swamped as well by Al-Sahuti. He's absolutely on one. He really wants his victory, but he goes wide, and it looks like they're going to let Adaki get away with it.
I think they are. I think that's probably going to be the moment for Amon Adaki in the lead then. Got some nice breathing space, the Japanese rider, but this shuffle is close now. Sahuti looked like he'd taken over in second, but yeah, a little bit wide. That's just allowed a couple of guys to get back past. What has the Qatari rider got? Like you say, he's going to throw everything at this on the final lap.
And even though he is a wildcard rider, he's got plenty of experience of racing at this sort of level in the European Talent Cup with the vastly experienced Leopard Racing squad as well. So he knows what experience he needs on these final laps to make these sorts of moves, as does Hakim Denis in this second place. Is this experience coming through? Well, you might say that, but it's going to be a rookie who could take this victory if he stays on in this final sector.
Yeah, it's definitely Adaki's to lose now, isn't it? If the number 14 has no self-created drama, he is home and dry. But this second place, third place, who is going to be on the podium? It's still too close to call. Everything can change still in the final few corners.
Just 2 corners to go after this one, then 3 riders vying for that second position spot. You've got a Qatari versus a Malaysian versus an Indonesian, and then a Japanese rider looking to pick up any sort of pieces. Here we go then. This is the final corner of this second race. Adaki is clear. Al-Sahuti up the inside. Denis just behind him. Who will get the run to the line? Who will get the drive out the corner? Will the smaller frames win out over the larger ones? It's going to be glory for Adaki. He's sweeping over to make sure nobody gets him on the slipstream. He will take the victory, but who will get second place? Could it be the Qatari? It's Al-Sahuti. Glory for him. Second place, and Pratama, the Indonesian, gets third ahead of Gun Mie and Hakim Denis. What a race once again here in the Asia Talent Cup.
Yeah, that was an incredible performance then from Adaki. He has been the fastest man in the Asia Talent Cup so far in 2022, and some stylish celebration there as well. But wow, that was close for that second and third, and well, everyone really was incredibly close in that group, but especially, yeah, Al-Sahuti there, just sort of at the front of a triangle of riders trying to get that best slipstream over the line. Amazing performance from him to get that podium. And in a race with very, very little attrition as well, there's not been too much drama today. That is really great for him and for Qatar here on home turf. And Pratama, that save, converting that into a podium then just a couple of laps later, incredible performance from him.
Yeah, I mean, that is just very, very impressive.
That's
indeed.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I hope that replay goes viral because it's just stunning.
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed with that. And Hamad Al-Sahuti, well, that's really, really impressive as well. There's some great performances through there, and we've had only a couple of non-finishers as well in this particular race, so a lot calmer than yesterday, a lot cleaner racing, you can say. So that was just sensational. I'll tell you what, Fran, Adaki had a great celebration for second spot yesterday. It was second spot, third spot, wasn't it? Yes.
In the end, yeah.
So I can't wait to see what he's got up his sleeve for first position
he
here.
did quite a nice, relaxed victory lap, but for third place on the podium yesterday, didn't he? So we'll have to see what the number 14 is going to pull out his pocket today.
Not so many fans in the grandstands at the moment here in Qatar. Of course, racing in the Grand Prix class is getting underway much later on, but I do hope any locals here give Hamad Al-Sahuti his just celebrations and praise for his efforts today. Veda Ega Pratama then, third position with the save of the day already.
I think it will remain the save of the day. Like, the pressure is on the Grand Prix classes to try and top that. I don't think anyone will.
The aim actually in racing tends to be not to have to do the save altogether. But if they're going to have to, yeah, the
reverse psychology.
Yeah.
But yeah, incredible stuff on the number 7, and yeah, definitely a well-deserved podium for him. But whew, I'm still feeling the adrenaline a little bit after that one.
Yeah, a bit exhausted. So the win out that time around was 1.3 seconds, but then you've got mere hundredths of a second separating positions 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, with Wakamatsu getting 6th place overall. Then what's that done to the championship standings? Adaki is the leader ahead of Izawa. Al-Sahuti in 3rd. He'll be gutted he's only just a wild card, wouldn't he? And Mie in 4th.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's now maybe I could continue.
Yeah,
we'll have to see how that pans out. But Adaki then doing his wave to the crowd, or more the marshals.
In a few minutes. Hurry up.
But yeah, hopefully they give him a good reception around the track. That was a really stunning win, that was.
Yeah.
Good job from the number 14, and I'm sure he'll probably feel a little bit more relaxed as well now, because there was a lot of pressure on him coming into this after being so fast from the off. So job well done. What are we watching here then?
Oh gosh,
is it
Wakamatsu was so close to the track limits. I think he just ran it onto the edge. But
it's
this
hard
is the
to
final
know,
corner.
isn't it, from that angle, because it can look close, but it can be close in the right way, or it can be just over. And that camera angle is, yeah, making it a challenge to tell. But look, that number 23, so close. Moving over there, just moving slightly to the left to cover off those riders who were trying to nab it there. Really good move from Al-Sahuti there.
And it looks like the Asia Challenge Cup riders, heaven forbid, could actually teach the Moto3 World Championship riders a thing or two about not swerving into the path on the home straight as well, eh?
That was, after yesterday we had a bit of drama, although we keep saying like today was a nice clean race. That's not to say that crashes are by definition dirty.
No.
But there were a few mistakes and just little bits of messy contact yesterday as we got underway for 2022. But that was certainly an exemplary example of racing, wasn't it? Yep,
I hope the Moto3 World Championship riders have taken due note of that. As we see, Adaki has made it round to come in towards Parc Ferme to join Al-Sahuti and Pratama. 3 different flags above the podium there will be in this one, as the other riders have already made it in. He will be absolutely over the moon with that. Yesterday we had Takaki Nakagami come to the podium in Parc Ferme to congratulate the riders and hand out the trophies. And hugs all around for Al-Sahuti and Adaki. They are friends, these riders. You got Alberto Puig down there as well, congratulating them. He's still involved in this sort of thing. We got Ray Wakamatsu failed to comply with long lap penalty.
He must have had maybe then a long lap penalty.
He must have gone over
for the track limits. Yeah, he's got a track limits warning, we can see there at 12:14 it came up, so that must have been just in the latter stages of that race. And then
so he probably did it on the final lap, and then obviously being the final lap, he didn't fail to comply with it, he just ran out of laps.
Yeah, probably just didn't have time to get that done.
Yes, so that's
failed to tell the future.
So where has he finished then? He has been pushed down to P9, so that moves Izawa up into P6 and Thompson and Puertosan. So the championship's
got
even
closer then, yeah, exactly. I'm not quite quick enough to do the maths. What was the deficit? It was 7 points, wasn't it? So it'll be less than 7 points now.
Yeah, correct. Well done.
A-level maths, thank you very much.
You can see the signs for MotoGP Unlimited, of course. I'm sure all of these young riders will be watching that when that comes out on the 14th of March. Well, that was a great race, that. What a great start to the day's action here in the Lusail International Circuit. Nadaki's absolutely over the moon with that. Such lovely kids. Went to go see them after their race whilst they're doing their first ever sort of interviews in the TV set, just along from our commentary position. Actually, yesterday they always do one that goes up on the Age of Talent Cup website, MotoGP.com, etc. And to their local broadcaster if they so wish for it. And yeah, all very, very nice and humble kids.
Gunmie was certainly, the frustration seemed to have subsided.
Yeah,
once the podium was over and he'd done the interview, and obviously happy to have got that second place. Yeah, they were all fairly smiling when they walked back out via the media centre, I think.
Exactly.
Little ATC parade through there.
And of course, so those at the media side of it is all part of the learning curve as well for these riders too. It's not exactly because it's front page news absolutely everywhere in the world, understandably so. Some parts of the world it could be, but you know, you've got to train them up and get ready for these things, because you know, these riders who are at the top of ATC now, they could well be at the top of World Championships going forward. Absolutely,
yeah. I'd wager that certainly third place today might make a few front pages, regional or national.
Exactly.
Because we know, Indonesia, you love this sport.
Well,
right, there we go then. Ayman Adaki taking the second race win here in Qatar from Veda Ega Pratama and Shinya Azawa. Is that the right results? It is indeed. Hamad Al Sahuti, what has happened there? On our timing screen for the standing on the last lap, we have Al Sahuti in second, so not sure exactly what's gone on there. But we have Ray Wakamatsu in ninth, so let's wait and see what...
Our timing screens haven't changed, so...
Yep, and you would expect our timing screen to change before it came up on the graphics there, so not exactly sure on that one. But it seems, we know for sure, Adaki has taken that win. Yeah, Al Sahuti was second across the line, and then Pratama in third. So we'll see what's happened there with the result.
Could just be a minor error, which is all right. But
these things happen. These things happen
on live TV.
But we will definitely let you know if our timing screen changes as well. So the championship then, it still has Azawa in second, 7 points back, and then Al Sahuti there in third place. So yeah, really impressive stuff from the Qatari wildcard after 2 races. Then we've got Mie, Danish, Pratama, Fuetisan, Putra, and Trihardika there in 9th place. But yeah, it's pretty big gap there, isn't it, already between the top sort of 8 or 9 riders. And then Hafi, Wakamatsu, Fadila, Carter Thompson, Nicholas, Swain, Tranduktai, and then Riswanto with a few points there.
Yeah, it's with the next race coming up in literally a matter of a couple of weeks as well. Very, it's good to be getting going so quickly once again.
Certainly, yeah, especially after what we've had with, obviously, the pandemic obliging so many changes for the ATC and, unfortunately, cancellation after the first round in 2020. It's great that we get a good few races stacked up to get this season underway.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can confirm that Hamad Al Sahuti is coming out onto the podium. The Qatari flag is there, so I think perhaps our final results there were in fact wrong, and they're not the final results.
Yeah, but it was Adaki, Al Sahuti, Pratama on the podium, and then Mie, Danish, Azawa, Thompson, Fuetisan, Wakamatsu down in 9th. That was correct after that long lap, or rather 3-second penalty in lieu of the long lap. But yeah, it is always a heartbreaker when you get that late penalty. But of course, it comes from having already done it a few times throughout the race. So it feels very unkind in the timing, but it is a repeat offence, and that's why these penalties end up getting handed out.
Well,
here we go then.
Pratama out onto the podium, 3rd position. First podium in the Age of Talent Cup for the Indonesian. They'll absolutely love that. And also first podium for Hamad Al Sahuti, the Qatari rider. Slightly bigger ripple of applause there with local people here giving him the just praise. But here is your winner, Ayman Adaki. Sensational all weekend, pole position, and that first victory here in race 2.
Yep, stunning stuff then. You see the height difference there, almost the same height as Al Sahuti, despite being on the top step.
So fair play to him for actually bagging that second spot and not getting drafted to the line then. He's
Absolutely,
not much of a deficit. His top speed was actually faster than Adaki's that time around, 216.4 kilometres an hour.
Wow, that's impressive.
Danish faster though, 219. So we have the trophies being presented.
A really big proud smile there. Then I think it'll be Hiroshi Ayama there presenting the winner's trophy.
The last ever 250cc world champion. in 2009. Hiroshi Oyama at Honda Team Major Team Boss could well be one of these riders, Team Boss in the future.
Yeah, and one of the nicest men in the paddock too.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, unbelievably polite. Just what a guy. Here's the national anthem. Well, always a special moment to hear your own national anthem ring out above a Grand Prix podium. Will it be in a World Championship podium for someone like Idaki in the years to come? What a race that was. Cannot wait for us to get going in Mandalika in a couple of weeks' time in Indonesia. For now, we'll have the photos. I'll be getting a look at some of the highlights of the race then. Here we go, everybody cleanly away. But that was the last time that it was going to be a fairly sedate couple of laps for this entire 14-lapper race.
Yes, definitely. The action came thick and fast today with some great racing on Sunday for the ATC. You could see then it was Denis who took the lead early on into turn 1, with Idaki not getting the perfect start from pole, but certainly a lot better than yesterday. But soon enough, the number 14 was dueling Pratama at the front.
Well, there were a couple of fallers in that race. To the medical centre for a quick check-up was young Happy, but we saw him walking away all good, along with Launclear, who actually rejoined the race as well for a little while. But it was all action out front, a bunch of different riders, a 9-rider freight train, and it was getting very, very close indeed between some of the Japanese riders.
Yeah, I didn't see that. That looked like a little bit of elbows there. But yeah, it was a great battle at the front, as we've come to expect in the Asia Talent Cup. But it was the number 14 who came out on top this time after really leading the way for a good few laps. And we saw this stunning save from the man who ended up on the podium in third as well.
Sensational stuff. You've got to hand it to the Hamad Al Sahuti as well. A podium at home in Qatar. That's all from us here today from the Asia Talent Cup. Enjoy the rest of race day with MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3, and we'll see you in Indonesia.